gives 8 minutes per week per child. That's on average in the United States. 8 minutes per week per child. And you don't have to be a prophet to realize that our families are in trouble. But we need to be impacting our children by being with them. But we also need to be impacting our children because the Word of God is part of our lives. Not just reading it, but we're living it. And it's not just reading and living it, but it permeates our life. It influences how we think and how we make decisions. Let me share with you this kind of scary stats here about, I was reading this article about 6 ways to turn your kids away from Christianity. And this article was written not for people to wasn't written to atheists trying to dispel, their children. This is talking to Christian parents. So Christian parents, we don't want to turn our kids away from Christianity, but we do that inadvertently when we practice these things. So listen to these things. Top 6 ways to turn your kids away from Christ. Okay? Number 6, schedule personal or family events in conflict with church activities. Okay? This is, guaranteed. When you do that, it tells your kids what your priorities are. Okay? So you schedule personal and family events in conflict with church activities, so you don't do the church activities. Number 5, don't get too close with anyone in the church. Okay, don't do that. And when we don't do that, it tells our children again who our friends are and who we want to spend times with. When you keep your relationships at church superficial, with your relationship with people in the church superficial, your kids pick up on that. They realize that. They see that. They see that Christ and the church are secondary to you. So they pick up on that. Number 4, you pay, this is going to hurt, you pay more to your IE and driver than your tithes and offering to the church. You pay more to your IE, to your driver, than to the church. Jesus said in Matthew 6:21, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Okay, oftentimes we tend to think, I'll give money to where my heart is leading. That's not true. That's not true at all. Your heart right now is where your money is right now. Your heart follows your money, not the other way around. That's what Jesus is talking about. For where your treasure is, there your heart will follow. Number 3, do the best you can to make sure that your kids arrive on time to school events, but don't worry if they miss or are late to church. I get this question sometimes, once in a while, and I get this question from parents of teenagers, and they tell me my kid, when they were young, they would love to go to church, but now as teens, they don't want to come to church. So what do I do? And my question to them is, switch the word church to school. So for example, if your teen said, Mom, Dad, I just don't want to feel like going to school today, what would you tell them? Would that even be an option? No, it wouldn't. Of course it wouldn't. And so your kids pick up on this too. And so if you're fine with them missing out or being late to church, but not to school, again, that's going to turn your kids away from Christianity. Number 2, don't volunteer for anything that makes or make any long-term commitment to the church. Again, talking about priorities. And lastly is whatever you do, don't let church influence the way you live your life. And you practice these 6 things, and it is a recipe for disaster. You will produce a child that hates the church and hates Christ. They may not say it to your face, but that's how they're going to live. Okay? And so here are things that I think that that Moses wants us to to live out, because when the Word of God is penetrating our life, our children will develop those same habits.